Hi, I'm Mary Polcheninoff, and welcome to Sure Things. Today, I'd like to welcome our guest, Pat Marcarelli. Hi, Pat.
Hi,
How you
how you
doing
doing?
today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you would join us, and what great timing! I'm looking out the sunny window today, a
hmm
nice summer day in June, Pat is the president of Council of Beaches here in Westbrook, and I wanted to have Pat on to talk about a background about the committee, the beaches, the council, and the committees, and also to update us on some of the transition we're going through right now as we head into the summer of 2020 and all that means. So Pat, if you could just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your role and how you got involved with the Council of Beaches.
Well, okay. I guess it's one of these things. You wind up getting a job that until you find somebody to replace you. I was president for a number of years in the West Beach Association, the neighborhood association, which encompasses the area from the town beach down to, I'm going to say, the Elks Club and the all-encompassing neighborhood at that area. Since then, I started getting involved, saw some other interest and so forth, and I was the West Beach representative to the Council of Beaches. When Ms. Wolf, Barbara Wolf, stepped down, she said, "Would you be happy, be glad, or be willing to take over?" Nobody's glad, but be willing to take over this position. And I said, "You know what? I'll give it a shot." So here I am doing this. The job here as president. The Council of Beaches, just to bring everybody up to speed here, we kind of oversee and work with all 17 beach associations here in the town of Westbrook.
And that's just for Westbrook. That was my question I had too. I wondered how many beach associations, and that's just for Westbrook.
And that's just for Westbrook. That is correct.
Yeah.
During my time, we've handled all sorts of situations from Hurricane Sandy and Irene before that. We had the winter freeze. We've had to rebuild seawalls and so forth. And the town has done a tremendous job. And I work with them in doing that. And the town has done a tremendous job in doing the maintenance there.
So can I ask you, Pat, are you funded then? Is Council of Beaches funded by the town of Westbrook?
No, not at all. Not a penny.
Not at all. How do you get your funding?
The membership associations, they pay a minimal dues and so forth, and we just try to make ends meet the best we can in order to participate in all the programs that we're involved in. So many programs here in the town of Westbrook. It's just really, really amazing. The people that we have on board and everything that they do to help out the people of the town of Westbrook. Everybody gets confused, and I want to clear that up at the very beginning of this. Let me just there we go. I don't know if I'm getting the right screen here. There we go. The one thing I did want to clear up at the very beginning of this: the Council of Beaches is memberships of, like I said, all 17 beach communities in town.
Yeah.
But we work for the good of the entire town of Westbrook. And as our conversation goes on, I'm sure we'll touch on some of the other things that we do.
Yes. I checked out your website, but I'm also involved in one of the committees. So I know that as a body in the town of Westbrook, there are many other outreach programs that you do besides beaches that really are, as you said, for the good of the community, which is great.
Right.
Does the Council of Beaches have jurisdiction, or do they just present guidelines to the different beach associations? Is there any jurisdiction? You know what I'm saying?
Actually, we don't. We just, it's funny you ask that because, and this is very important, and I probably take this opportunity to get the word out.
Yeah.
We sit down and we have people on virtually every board in town, from the Board of Finance to the Traffic Authority, the Alleviating Hunger, Literacy Volunteers, so forth. We have representatives from our thing that were on the Board of Education, and so we're involved in everything. So we have input through those channels.
Yes.
In order to see what's best for the town of Westbrook.
Right.
Again, But and then just recently as yesterday, there was a Board of Selectmen meeting that we met. Because there's been some issues down in the public beach areas now, obviously with the COVID-19 going on, and the enforcement, and how do we protect the residents? How do we protect the visitors to our beaches and so forth? And with the closing of the parking lot, and it's the residents only for parking, and as Noel will have stated, the beaches in Westbrook are open to anybody. They are.
Right.
The town can control the parking, and they need to, because we need the social distance. Just yesterday afternoon, a new ordinance was passed that we did have input on, and that is, as you go along the beaches now, everybody has these pop-up tents and so forth, tents and the 10 by 10 canopies and so forth. Those are outlawed for overnight. Some people go there and they put their structures up and so forth. So canopies, volleyball nets, things of that nature, structures on the beach are not allowed to be on the beach after 8:30 p.m.
Now that's a new ordinance that's
brand new. That's brand new yesterday afternoon.
And that's to support social distancing?
Well, it's not to social distancing so much. It's number one, it's a violation of town ordinance. It's considered camping. That's number one. Okay. We've had in the past, we've actually had somebody come down and set up an entire campsite on the beach, and they Ubered in from another town. Oh. And everybody scratched their head. What do we do? What do we do with this? And it's Hammonasset was full, so they thought, well, we'll come here and we're going to camp here. And next thing you know, we had tents and so forth. So that was the onset of all of this action. But the problem is there are complaints and stuff, because at night when nobody's monitoring these tents, a storm breaks out and comes on shore. Now we have missiles and so forth, and yet it's a public beach, so nobody can claim that this is their property and so forth. So that was the initiative and the incentive behind this rule, and that was just passed yesterday about 4:00 yesterday afternoon. Wow, and the language will all be out today.
Wow, so that'll come out for information. But since we're talking about the ordinances that have just been implemented, can you update us on now with the COVID-19? Here we are in June. I know phase 2 is June 17th, but can you tell us now, what does it look like for our beach associations? What are our guidelines?
Yeah, so far so good. As you know, and everybody in the town is aware, we have people at the gate at the town beach. Right. That'll be closed at a certain hour. I think it's 7 p.m. Yeah. The town beach, we also have at least 1 or 2 constables or a state trooper on duty during the opening hours every day that's needed to monitor the folks that are coming in and out of the beach. We ask, and the town's policy is pods of people, hopefully within your own group of people, your friends, family, no more than 5, and then at least 6 feet apart between. I guess the new term of 2020 is called a pod now. Okay.
A pod. So do you think that'll change, that 5, no more than 5 in a pod?
Eventually it will. And gosh, we sure hope it will. And the other thing is too, the town and the police departments, they're monitoring the parking in the areas and so forth. And then we have the Elks in that Seaside Avenue area, that neighborhood. And of course, they are now, it's members only. They are monitoring the cars that come in and out of their lot. And of course, they're open now for outdoor dining, just like any other restaurant. It's members only. So they're trying to do that as well and keep the distancing and so forth and placement along the beach areas to do that. So I think everybody's playing their part down here. So far, not met with any problems. I haven't really heard anything of anything extraordinary going on our town beaches.
Besides the no more than 5 in a pod, are there any other numbers as far as gatherings or activities on the beaches that you know of?
Not that I'm familiar with. I know there are associations that wish to have outings and parties and so forth,
Yeah.
and right now they're all on hold because they can't go over the limit that is posted by the state and that the town is enforcing.
Right.
And if they see something is getting out of hand, one of the constables or a trooper will try to address it, and a situation, just ask them politely move away. We don't want to have a lot of personal contact with anybody, whether you're an officer in one of the beach associations and so forth. And don't forget, we have 14 out of the 17 beach associations are private beaches.
Yeah.
So therefore, they have their own rules, and they've already set the same standards or more than what we have here. So in the public,
you feel everyone's following, everyone's on board.
Yes, I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy, with the progress and stuff that we made here. And we have to make this progress because we'll shoot ourselves in the foot if we don't.
Yeah.
I also have a place in Florida, and I was down there earlier this year, and I've been telling everybody that Florida so far has been like about a month ahead of what Connecticut is because of the warmer climate and so forth they had down there. They were able to open up some stuff. I believe they were like 50% capacity indoor dining, as of today. So we're going to get there. We will get there. And the council is going to work with the town to anything we can do on that matter. We'll handle.
Yeah, it's so important. We talk a lot about social gatherings at our association and trying to figure out the right way to go at this time. But we hear the guidance is really just to be careful right now and keep everybody safe.
That's true. That's the best thing.
Really important. We mentioned a bit about the outreach in your other committees on the Council of Beaches. Could you talk a little bit about the other?
Sure. Let me just say this first. June is National Ocean Month.
Yes.
Okay. And so the Council of Beaches is also very concerned about cleaning. The big message they're trying to get out is no plastic and so forth in the oceans. We're working with that. We also work with a program through the state, and it's called the Long Island Sound Blue Program. And that's working with all the different communities around Long Island Sound, marking, going as far as even wrecks and stuff that have been in the ocean in our sound for years, marking and trying to make it a better economic situation for all our shoreline towns. That's one of the programs that we have, and that's always ongoing. Let me see. We have a plan of conservation. This is fairly new. This group, and this goes through the planning department, the zoning department, and this is a committee that is looking for the future. It has to be done every 10 years. Looks towards the future of Westbrook, and we have members sitting on that panel as well. Just trying to bring up the new ideas for Westbrook and how do we move forth for the next 10 years down the road, whether it's downtown planning, sidewalks, and so forth.
I know we talked about sidewalks last year, a couple of years ago, so I know that there was a committee looking into different upgrades or different way to help the town,
So we have a committee that's working on that, and that's one of the things they're tackling as well. We also have the literacy volunteers, although it's been quiet because homeschooling now and so forth. We like to be active and help with that. For volunteers, we're always looking for volunteers there at the library and so forth to help people that English is not their first language, to help them learn to read and get along in the world.
And I actually had Susan Graves on for literacy volunteers, and we did an interview with her because it was fascinating. And as you said, Pat, you're so right. They're always looking for people to sign up and do the training and help out. It's a wonderful organization.
And it's a very, very simple task. One of the other programs, Mary, we have is the Alleviating Hunger program. Wonderful member, Tony Koza. Everybody seems to know Tony in town.
He's my neighbor. He's your neighbor.
Hey, okay. And Tony, and he ropes me into a lot of this stuff. So,
he's very active.
July 11th, I believe it's 9 to 1 on the town green. we will once again have a stuff a police cruiser with food. As everybody knows, our food banks are running very, very low.
Yes.
We do a winter one for clothing. The summer one we try to do for food. So the information's all on the website of the Council of Beaches there. I will be out there. Tony will be out there.
I'll be out there. I'm also part of that group. So Tony's already put me into an hour out there too. So I will be out there as well.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll we'll be out there. And in fact, I was trying to fine tune the plan. We did this down in Florida, and it's a virtual, what they call a virtual. Everything's virtual now, a drive-through. But what we're going to try to do, change it up this year. We have a couple of plans. We talked with Zach over at the health department, our health director, to see how is the best way for us to handle this. Again, little contact or no contact. So we're going to have to set up a plan there. And today at the Oakdale up in Wallingford, went up there yesterday. They have a drive-through where basically you have your groceries you want to donate in the trunk of your car. You pop the lid. Somebody comes and takes it and says, thank you very much. So I think that might be something that we're probably going to be looking to do this year.
Yeah, that might be a way to deal with that, to deal with the situation and still get that needed food to the food pantries. Yeah.
And then we have another thing we're involved in is the economic, it's basically for our Alice population. And these are folks that are limited income, challenged with that and so forth. And we try to help them with meals and economic stability here in town, help educate them, and hopefully they'll continue on to help work and serve in the town of Westbrook. So that's another program that we also have here with the Council of Beaches as well. Gosh, I can go on and on. I guess we have a hand in almost everything. We have members on the traffic authority that help oversee. And throughout the town, it's not just the beach areas and so forth, right. Because the summertime does get busy down here, so there's always questions raised
very
and
busy,
so forth. And then
with this beach, I don't mean to cut you off. With your council beaches for Westbrook, are you connected to the other council beaches across the shoreline? Do you ever have a big
no, we haven't had that, and it's great that you brought that up. We haven't had that. When I had suggested this years ago. I was the president, as I said earlier, over at the West Beach neighborhood, and this during after Sandy, post Sandy, and somebody came up to me and they saw the wonderful job that everybody was doing in Westbrook and so forth. And this was from the town of Madison, and they said, "Would you be willing to come down and speak and see if you can help guide us?" And believe it or not, Madison was way behind schedule on getting some of their stuff rebuilt and everything down there. But Mr. Bishop at the time, hands-on, we had FEMA, the governor was here, we had the right people in the right spots. And I'd be frustrated and get down there every day and be, walking the seawall and making sure the guys are putting the stone in the right spot and so forth. And they say, "Oh, what a pain in the neck this guy is." But the things got done. But I think that's an excellent idea, and we should, because it's always good to share. We do see from the Board of Selectmen's point of view what is happening in Old Saybrook, what's happening in Clinton, Madison, Essex, and so forth, Lyme, all the towns around us. We get our input all from them.
So you do. So you have that connection.
Yeah, well, we do have that connection, but it's basically through the Board of Selectmen that we get. And they're doing a tremendous job trying to tackle all of this, and their hands are full. It's a small community. It's just a small town.
Yeah.
One of the other things we have is a scholarship program. So we work with the school on a scholarship program, which we are going to announce. We have a winner, and that will announce her name publicly. I can't. It's like premiering a new TV show. You can't let the cat
out. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Out of the bag.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
But we know who it is, and she's a wonderful candidate, and I think she'll be great help and asset to the town of Westbrook as well. So we do that. We've had in the past. We had the Scouts. Steve Smith, one of our members.
He's my other neighbor.
Your other neighbor. Okay, you're sandwiched between these two guys. Yeah.
Right.
I know where I'm going to have when I get mad. I know where to go. Steve has handled stuff supporting. We support the Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scout program here in town, and we've been helping them out on projects and so forth. And so we try to do what we can for the community.
Yeah, it does sound like you said earlier, you have a piece of really some vital functions within the community.
Do you remember the old commercial back in the 60s or 70s? You own a piece of the rock.
Oh yeah.
Apparently that's what we do.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes for a very interesting summer schedule here for me.
And speaking of, you mentioned the schools with the scholarship, and I just wanted to go back to that and mention, along with that hunger committee, that they did set up the meals for the students for children in the summer.
I was getting to that, and I'm glad I have it written down, a little piece of paper here. And the lunches, the summer lunches and so forth. We do that. We like to help out our social services department when we can, and the best that we can. So we've done that, and the beach communities come together and helped pull some people through. They're doing a tremendous job down there because some of the elderly couldn't get out during the crucial times here. So the town stepped up in a big way to help our residents, and our members did too. And that's what we're proud of. We're very proud. I have to honestly say I'm a very proud leader. Have good people all around, and very, very happy.
That's wonderful. How long will you be president, Pat? Sounds like you're in there for
I don't know. I have a term that expires next year. I'm president through 2021.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I run the way it's set up is the Council of Beaches president goes the same along with the selectmen's election.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why, but
well, that's good. So,
one or the other like to see me out anyway. So
right. No. I did miss. So I saw on your website, and I missed the first meeting. I was going to tune into the Council Beaches meeting, but it was a Zoom meeting. How do your meetings go now? Will you still be on Zoom for your? Are they monthly meetings or?
Yes, they're monthly. Normally the first Monday of the month.
Okay.
Normally our next meeting is July 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's going to wind up being a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
And I can put anybody on the mailing list. I have a wonderful secretary, Pauline Peterson, who's, if you've been on the website, and I encourage everybody in town to go on the website.
Yeah.
It's very informative. It's very up to date. Pauline has done a tremendous job. She worked with Darlene Briggs on this to get the website up and running. I think for at least the next meeting will be a Zoom meeting as well.
Okay.
So I'd love to have an in-person, face-to-face. Sometimes some of our meetings now we've changed it up. We have like a meet and greet. Got the name tags on. We'll have water, coffee, donuts, and so forth. We have at the meetings, and we just started that program last year, and so far it's kaputs.
Good.
Until further
if
notice.
If somebody wants to get on the Zoom meeting, they would just go on the website, and there's a link there that they could let somebody know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get.
If somebody wants to, we have it. We have it on the website. We have our Zoom meetings on the website. We don't do a Facebook thing. We don't do any social media stuff. Like that. Okay. But we do on our website. We have it, and all they have to do is say hit the contacts and say, I'd like to be on your mailing list. And then, I have no problem with it. The more, the merrier. What we do, and to be honest with you, what we try to do at the meetings, each of the 17 associations has a delegate, and then there's an alternate. So depending on how many of the people from those associations, it could be 2 to 3 people come in from an association for a meeting. It does get crowded. I've sat in on a couple of town meetings here. The Board of Finance, and of course the Board of Finance, during budget season, there are so many people on, and Donna did a tremendous job trying to keep control on the whole situation there. So this is a whole new curve for everybody here in town.
Well, you're doing
everybody in the world.
Everybody everywhere, right? But
exactly. Yep.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, and I want to thank you for your leadership. Being part of the beach community here and in a private association, we get the reports about the meetings, and of course, we follow the guidance and of the council as well. So I want to thank you for that, because
I thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Anytime you need me, just give me a holler.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you, Pat. And
Okay.
thank you for everybody else for joining in, and hope you come back again and tune in to Sure Things.
Sure. Hopefully, one of these days we'll be able to do it in the studio again.
I hope so. That would be great, Pat. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.